Koonsberg's doing it.
We've got BBC in the background, but I'm not going to go to it live yet. It's the background at the moment.
A very good evening to you. Welcome to our election night studio, your destination for unrivaled coverage over the next 10 hours as we discover whom you've chosen to walk through the famous door in Downing Street.
Last time round, Boris Johnson was Prime Minister. Jeremy Corbyn led the Labour Party. We were still in the European Union and no one had heard of coronavirus.
Today, of course, the political landscape is very different and the leaders of all the main parties have changed.
The black bloke.
Keir Starmer cast his vote this morning. Only 4 Labour leaders have ever been elected Prime Minister. Has he done enough to seal the deal with the British people? And can he lead Labour to its first victory in nearly 20 years?
Rishi Sunak is the 5th Tory Prime Minister in quick succession. He surprised the country with a snap election and has been fighting hard to hang on to power after the Tories' 14 years in charge. But can he cross Jeremy Vine's winning line outside number 10?
Every paving stone, a parliamentary seat. You remember 2019?
It's a bit loud on mine, the BBC.
Won all these seats and paved a path to the door.
Yeah, you're a bit fainter.
Labour
than
turn
BBC.
the blue seats red and send Keir Starmer through that historic black door, or will the Conservatives hold them off?
This is the engine room of our
I think you
election.
can turn the TV down a little bit, can't you?
An eye on all the election centres right across the UK with an army of reporters. Fiona Bruce and Victoria Derbyshire are with the Labour and Tory leaders. And the race to deliver the first result is always fiercely contested. So we have our earliest risers on the hunt.
I think all the other guys are on Sky.
Hello, I'm in Blythe, where a recount in 2019 stopped them winning. But this time, this team is even more determined than ever. Do we think we can beat Sunderland this time?
Can you hear it in the background, babe?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Let's just see, shall we? Sunderland has won this race many times, and they're not giving up without a fight.
Here in London's Broadcasting House, our teams are poised, ready to gather and then verify every single result as they begin to come in. And of course, at the heart of it is Professor Sir John Curtis, who's been hard at work already all day.
He's not going to get a super. If he gets a super majority, I'll
legally reveal the results.
I'll eat my baseball
all of those calculations.
That exit poll will indicate we'll be heading here to the Commons. And Rita Chakrabarti will be checking all the numbers.
You can all that data into the giant screen now, and in a few moments' time, I'll be able to tell you which seats are most likely to be changing hands.
If it doesn't,
if neither Keir Starmer nor Rishi Sunak win the magic 326 seats, could one of the smaller parties, Ed Davey's Liberal Democrats, would love to become the 3rd biggest party once again. Nigel Farage is back in frontline politics with Reform UK, and Kirsty Wark is one.
Yeah, can you hear me now, guys? I've just muted it. Background noise is too loud for my headset. Hold on. Right. Can you hear me now? Can you hear Dave?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me all right?
That's better. All right. I'm just going to quickly put it on now, guys.
So we're seconds away from 10 o'clock and the exit poll, the first indication of how the night might unfold. More than 20,000 BBC, ITV News and Sky in this first July election since 1945. 326 seats I needed to win. So here we go.
Guys.
And as Big Ben strikes 10, the exit poll is predicting a Labour landslide.
Sir Keir Starmer will become Prime Minister with a majority of around 170 seats.
The exit poll predicts that Labour will have captured 410.
Mute the screen. Right, I'll mute the screen audio, guys.
Yeah, stop the audio now. So, yeah.
Labour,
I knew he weren't going to get a fucking super majority. I knew it, see? Because they don't, I knew it. So they're going to get over 100 seats still, the Tories. Yeah, the Tories are still going to get over 100 seats.
SNP are down.
4, they're up 2, and the Greens are up 1 on 2.
All the pointers tonight are that Sir Keir Starmer is taking
He's going to get 13, is all what's his name?
Power. Only the fifth Labour leader to win a general election. These are the first indications of what may unfold.
I don't think so. I don't think he'll be as much.
Chris.
You might get as many as
just take a look and take in
97
those
when he had
numbers. The
163.
So often an election
I don't think you get over 200.
Looks pulverised tonight.
It looks like Farage got 13
At the
seats.
last general election, it was Labour that was pulverised, reduced to its small.
It's like got 13 seats. I said at least 3 seats, but looks like it's got 13.
I could turn that down to 5. I wonder if that'll work.
By just a smidgen would require a Himalayan climb on their part. And yet you look at those numbers and they have won by a mile. What does this tell you? It tells us a lot about voter volatility, like never before. More people in more places, more often.
They are 13 seats
to change their minds about who they support from one election to another. That's why it looks like we went from a landslide last time for the Conservatives to a landslide for Labour this time. It is going to be quite the night.
Well, Chris, we should a degree of scepticism we should apply to this exit poll. They have a very good track record, but it's only over the next few hours.
I still think it's I don't think. I think.
But it does seem.
It says 13 seats for reform, but that's going to be whittled down, I think.
Has done something extraordinary, pulling back Labour from where it was in 2019.
For some reason, I can't get your picture
when you look at the Labour numbers.
For me, or
how do I get you to go?
The extent to which they had been so comprehensively beaten.
Yeah, there you go. I've got you on a solo late. If you want to carry on.
Lots of political parties.
For me.
That would carry on. They'd be out of power.
Yeah, I've got no worries.
Explain what you want to say. Go on.
And of course, we should.
No, I'm just saying it's only a what's called poll at the moment, isn't it? This is still people who said what they voted after they come out because they could be bollocks.
Be heading for a very
so as I said, we still don't know until they've been counted.
A few more caveats.
They haven't shown any photographs of Glasgow and still in daylight yet, have they?
National Party by dint of.
I'm just checking around. They're going to show Glasgow because it's still daylight there.
There are fewer data entry points into that exit poll. Right. There's a bit more caution.
Labour landslide on Channel 4.
Around reform.
Labour landslide, Channel 4.
Some things.
What's the Channel 4 saying? Labour landslide, yeah.
In terms of the
410 seats,
it looks very clear. And we overuse words like historic, don't we, occasionally?
You want to put a picture up or anything? Like polls of
these numbers
all over the place. Some said before we've got 3 seats.
By breakfast time. Warrants.
Well, I've said before for reform of 3 seats, but that could go up or down. They're definitely going to get 3 seats because Farage has got it.
That the polls have
30p Lee's got his, and there's another one.
The potential
up north
majority, but if this exit
I told you,
early indication, if it is right,
it's not a super majority. It isn't. You haven't got to worry. He's going to lose it in 5 years' time.
Because who knows if
whatever happens, he's going to lose it in 5 years' time.
Election and the recent
I can't get that picture up
things can swing in all sorts of directions remarkably quickly. But to answer your question,
there's no intention of winning. You right there.
Conservative tonight absorbing these numbers, clearly they are bleak and point.
Well, the landslide won't last though.
If that's how the numbers.
I mean, you've got 5 years, but they're going back to Conservative again. If you say it openly. They're going to reform, wouldn't they?
Similar,
in terms of where they are majority-wise. If they can't do nothing in 5 years' time, Conservatives, you've got Farage still in power, so
some sort of historical metric. That's the zone we're in.
Okay, Chris, thank you. We're going to be getting much more from you.
All you got to hope that Farage stays in Clacton the next couple of weeks.
Political guests, some of them will
be
jubilation. Some of them will be very much at the other end of the scale. We're joined initially by Lord Mandelson, who is of course architect of the 1997 and Steve Baker, the Conservative, who doesn't know yet whether or not seat in Wickham and
Koonsberg. She's not happy because she's a Tory lover, isn't she?
As they have been
revealed. Boris.
Have you found anything else? Is it worth watching anything else? Because I want to get Paul safe.
Having gained 209, The Conservatives
I
crashing
keep
down to
getting pulled if they're going
151,
to get
losing
pulled because they're going live to these
241.
people.
61, the Liberal Democrats,
Return.
an incredible performance for them if they
Well,
are.
if it was bad, Liberal Democrats would have had Liberal
Yeah, you can change the title if you do I title,
and the Reform
exclamation
Party
mark title.
gaining 13. You can
again.
just about see them coming onto the glorious
apologise.
crown of Broadcasting House here in the heart of London. But as Chris was saying, particularly when it comes to the smaller parties,
exclamation
will
mark title,
insert
guys.
lots
Yeah, you
of
can do
grains
it.
of salt at this stage. Small errors, small margins of errors in the exit.
Yeah, I'm called Todd Tory because that means dead in German. No, they're dead Tories.
Bear that in mind.
Yeah, health warnings will be the order of the night until we start getting the real results coming in. Hopefully the first result, possibly in the next hour and a half. Who knows? Fingers crossed. We'll be able to.
Have you found anything, Dave? You want to put on?
If you're going to have a majority,
I'm just watching
Labour, according to the exit poll of 170,
I was going to look on X.
then that means
and see what they got on there.
Clearly, right around the country, we're going to have a look at
Labour
some
landslide.
of those. Our psephologists could be changing hands to Labour with a.
But remember, none of them have been counted yet.
Hang on a minute. What's this?
Swindon South, Darlington.
Latest forecast, likely Labour gains.
Already had.
Not us.
The exit poll suggest
not us, Dave.
Wrexham, Conservative now potentially gone.
So you don't think Forest's going to get it?
Middlesbrough,
Forest's going to get it, but not
as well.
No.
And it's.
So you think the Tories are one in Forest still, or Basildon and Thurrock?
With the people,
yeah,
it looks like it's
look.
It
just saw that didn't change, did
it? From Ashen Underline. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Do you believe these numbers, Angela Rayner?
No, Carly Reid's fine. Don't worry.
Well, the numbers are encouraging, but of course the exit poll is a poll, so we haven't had any results yet. I think Keir Starmer has done a tremendous job of transforming the Labour Party.
He won't last 5 years, Keir Starmer.
A
programme for government that I'm hopeful that people have got behind.
To show you.
The numbers
I think he'll hand it over to Angela Rayner.
For the Labour Party.
Would you vote for her?
Banging on doors, doing their own research with their clipboards, getting busy. Do your numbers at Labour HQ broadly match with what we've seen tonight?
Labour.
Well,
if you look at where we were in 2019, just to get a majority of one, we'd have had to have a swing
reclaim bloke might get a bit, or that other bloke.
In 1997.
Oh, your
we know
clipping.
a number of seats were on an iPad from
I've got
our own data. But I also know that all of our activists and our candidates have been going out there not taking anything for granted.
I'm thinking of running again, but next year. That's the income.
And the concerns that they've had. And I think that
what's the name on the back? Keir Starmer. Why? I do not know. Why they keep doing that?
In power and the chaos
that's why I lost it all.
Had to tolerate is that they wanted that change.
I will understand tonight why you're at this stage a bit reluctant to crack a smile. I think Keir Starmer's watchword all the way through is to tell you all you must not be complacent. And yet you might be able to hear Peter Mandelson chuckling along in the studio here as you are nobly.
And
still may be uncertain for you. So do you think that you are going to be deputy prime minister by the weekend?
Yeah, go your beard and a school moustache.
It'd be an absolute honour and a privilege to be re-elected first of all.
Don't forget, Dave, you got your letter here from Stephen Metcalfe. You're going to read it.
Deputy Prime Minister.
No, I'm not going to. Too late now.
I've not been able to affect change because we've been in opposition. So the ability and the opportunity to serve
she could have won that.
And to bring about that change that they're desperate for would be an absolute privilege for me. But I'm not counting my chickens until we've got those.
Don't forget the triple lock.
Angela Rayner, Clive Myers,
the old people,
you're not counting your chickens. What kind of chickens might they be?
I'll be 64 by the time we have another general election.
In terms of,
don't forget when the election is. The election is on Thursday, the 4th of May. Okay, guys.
Oh, yeah, as the Tories.
I've been dealing with the New Deal for working people. I want to see secure jobs for people. I want to see those 1.5
million people. I can't see much of the screen, so at least you'll be saying hello to
our
you.
local government colleagues and our community.
You can't see the comments coming.
I can if I put my nose right up to the screen. As I usually see Paul.
They desperately need, and it will be a team effort. The shadow cabinet have been working well together.
That's why I got bad eyesight.
Team are very keen to make sure that we put country before party and that we serve in whichever way that Keir Starmer would like us to.
Angela Rayner, thank you so much.
Who was that?
Great standing in the rain there.
Oh, read the light up. It's all over it.
For joining us.
Bit of a swipe at the very end.
At the very end.
We all call that. We all call that. It is an exit poll. It's an early indication. But it is suggesting
just a bit of fun.
Landslide
just a bit of fun. Early indication.
We're waiting for the results to start coming in, and we have correspondents at more counts right around the country than any other broadcaster. So
wake him up in Yorkshire,
analysing the results, getting a sense.
I'll chuck that downstairs later.
Is my colleague Lisa Chakrabarty feeding all that statistics?
Oh, if he's won, he's what
into her giant screen.
Your letter from
exactly so.
Clive,
and I will bring you.
I'll chuck them all in the bin in a minute.
Those forecasts. They are forecasts at the moment because it's an exit
Neil
poll,
Spike,
but it is
who
based
says
on
he's
a
going to
balance
get
of
in?
probability
I don't
using
think
data
so.
from the exit poll that we can
he's only got my vote at the moment.
Or loss
and one down Stanford.
And there will be some very well-known Conservative faces.
You got a flag, Dave?
A brutal
no.
They include Ian Duncan Smith.
Oh, she's ripped the flag up. Oh, she ripped the British flag up.
We calculate his chance of hanging on
to ripped the British flag up. Yeah,
in East London as less than 1%. Steve Baker,
who
is in the studio here with us. Steve, I'm sorry to be putting you up here on the screen like this, but you know, we are giving you a less than 1% chance of hanging on.
Never rip up an English flag. Never rip up any flag. Put it under a rock.
Defense Secretary,
you know, no flag should be burnt or anything like that. Yeah.
Winning his seat.
When a flag comes out, you put it under a rock and just keep it there safe.
Let me bring you some more well-known names with a slightly better chance.
That's what the Germans did when they took Malimi Airport.
Jeremy Hunt, the Chancellor.
They took the Greek flag down and put a German up.
What, my brother's ruthless, is he,
Benny? Another way of
saying
saying that is an 81% chance of losing it, of course. Penny
yes, she is ruthless, isn't she?
Commons in Portsmouth North, her chance of winning.
I'm ruthless, yeah, I'm ruthless.
Yeah, you're ruthless, yeah.
Given the exit poll, and Jacob Rees-Mogg, arch-Brexiter.
I think Moggy might be out of it. Broggy might be out. I'm just
anything on there yet, no.
Absolutely is going.
That we're going to be looking
absolutely.
And I can also tell you that based on the information that we have so far, it looks as if Labour has pretty much 100% chance of
guys,
winning.
Can we all hear this, okay?
110 Conservative.
Oh yeah, Penny Morden might go.
Penny Morden might go.
Yeah.
All right, Rita, thank you for that. Much more from you throughout. Then
it's all according to what it says. She's not happy. Coons baby ain't happy. I'm telling you that for a fact.
Trade for you. To show you losing your.
She's not happy. She's a Tory and she loves what's his name.
Anything you found anything yet, Dave?
Well, I'm just going to go on X.
Nobly suggesting things might still feel uncertain, but you clearly are deeply
look at him, he's
old. Result is looking anything like other than the landslide.
Oh, Mandelson.
Smarmy
little bastard.
To carry big responsibilities in the government.
Did you say swear word then, Dave?
I must have.
Allowed to be a little bit more gobsmacked. I think that meteor.
Jackie Dorr-Price and lose.
You're in that area, aren't you, Rebel?
In a sense, it's not surprising given everything
he didn't vote for a Jackie.
He's gone through over the last 10 years.
Oh, he's in that area, Dave.
Oh no, he is.
As leader of the Conservative Party to lead them back to some sort of victory, and Mr. Sunak is not Superman. But I would have to
please do not sit on the fence in polling station.
You can't hear anything I'm saying. Oh God!
Oh yeah, I've been. I wonder how much Bin Man got. Bin face, Lord Bin face.
Would have imagined
that this was I'm just going to go into my studio
and the team and all the people who've run this campaign deserve absolutely every piece of credit that's coming their way.
Well, I came into this campaign knowing I was widely expected to lose. I do think the dynamic in Wickham is slightly different to what's generally expected.
Yeah, Rebel, did you know if there was a reform candidate in?
So I think my chances are quite a bit better, but I could easily have lost very heavily. It is just possible as a path to winning narrowly. But yeah, I absolutely do accept that the polls indicate that very soon. It's going to be an incredibly difficult night. You know, if it's the range between, I think, 110 and 241 Conservative MPs.
Yeah, you can hear me, guys.
It's an extremely painful night. Not only for
can
them,
we
but
hear you,
also
Dave?
for their staff.
Can you hear me all right?
With your pussy wipes behind.
I think to sit here, I mean, I think Angela.
Oh God, that's been.
I am certainly Deputy Prime Minister.
When I shit myself,
I think Peter's showing his political experience by sitting here, being able to accept that Labour have had a landslide. It's a pretty devastating night.
See my pussy.
See my pussy. Oh, good, Lisa. All right, thank you.
Well, Peter,
okay
to be
with the
fair
sound
to you,
from
Peter, you know, you said
BBC?
everything that's happened over the last 10 years. The country's been through
I
a number
can't
of
remember the name.
stresses,
Yeah,
and
a forgettable
notwithstanding
name,
the
I
support
think.
for leaving the EU, there's no doubt it put the country through a great deal of
They're all
stress.
forgettable names,
COVID,
but
you made quite a lot
you
of that
just vote
stress.
for them to try and get the others out.
It made it very difficult for people who were trying to run the country.
You do, you know.
Indeed, we did. But I have to say, if we had not resisted the deal over which I resigned from the government, I'm quite sure the Conservative
He wants to be the new, what's it called, the Tory leader.
He does?
Yeah, him.
Well. So
Brexit hard man Steve Baker.
Steve Baker, is it?
That's it. Brexit hard man Steve
from a
Baker.
Conservative point of view, I think this creates a very bad situation.
The
I mean,
cat's
obviously, I've
done
been
the
a
one
Labour
with
Party,
me
if I thought the
singing.
Labour Party was a good thing. I think this will create a bad situation for the country, but one.
Oh, someone's running over there, look, in Newcastle.
Been the case
Oh,
Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell.
I don't think you can have 20 years of Labour.
Dave, up to the minute as usual. Don't forget Shane Ralph is a canter. In perfect tonight.
Is he all right? He's been in for as Brett's gone, is it the county's perfect? Is it?
About the future of the country.
You sure it's not bad with
a
the
Labour government?
Yeah.
Even, of course, Peter's entitled
BBC
to
will probably claim the
I'm hoping this 5 years that last Labour.
Yeah, I know, yeah, that's what I'm trying to,
comes to pass.
I'm trying
And
to
if he does go, you're going to run on.
make it all about and
I don't
change
want
it
to
a
get
few
into that tonight. This story only emerged because there was a recording of a private speech that I gave, and so as a result, it ended up in the press. But
you did not say it.
If he's on a tape, he said it, didn't he?
I've got a great deal.
If it's on a tape, he said it.
I think he's a man.
Brexit hard man said, you know, I'm going to run for the Tory party. If it's on tape, he said it. Yeah.
But you know, when that happened, I
getting dark,
understand
from
my own
gambling,
my own colleagues. And some in the press, that it took a while before even journalists realised that D-Day was a mistake. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, obviously it was. I think for those of us with a background,
I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but I'm trying to do as much as possible.
But the mistake was made. But you know, when you
I
saw that up front.
I want to try and get a bit of what we can and keep coming in and coming out.
I think he will do what he believes is in the
national interest.
I know, but if any of you going to come back on again about 2 or 3 o'clock.
But you've got
under Keir Starmer from 2019
yeah, I've got Twitter. Yeah,
that is actually.
I've got the feed for Thurrock and all that. And I've got their feed.
Then
yeah,
what
you got
you were able to do with Labour.
I have to wake you up when
on Twitter.
When you think about it,
it's a lot more.
It's up to you if you want to stay online till 12.
Before 1997,
the first results
had
gone
gone
for a
up
12.
in
Well, there'll always be Tory wins
under Neil Kinnock. We went up
first
again
one to
under
go for a Tory.
1992.
You know.
We were on an upward trend. Heading
what's his
towards
name on here as
1997.
well?
Of course,
Lawrence Fox,
Tony Blair and all of us turbocharged the changes in the Labour Party that gave us our landslide victory in 1997. But when you compare that,
exit polls suggest Foak.
We are talking down in 2000.
We are talking to ourselves. Remember, that's it. You know,
I don't think there has ever been a party coming from opposition.
Labour
I think it's unprecedented to overhaul such an electoral deficit as this, and then catapult into not just a majority government, but
it will be a Labour gain here.
Majority of the kind that your exit poll is suggesting. I can't think in history what president exists
live on Gateway, guys.
All right, we're going to have to end it there for now, but do stay with us, Peter Mandelson.
Keir Starmer likely to get less votes. Oh yeah, less votes, but he'll be in. You know, he'll be in because people are going less for Labour, less for Tories. I'll get it right in a minute.
Oh, that one. Is it that one? Yeah.
Well, they said Rishi's on his way to California from tonight because he's got to go and see the King tomorrow to give him his resignation.
Right, Gateway 97.8 is on. There's a Basil and Thurrock watch with the South End counts. Follow up live.
Right. Oh, you got their counts. Oh, that's on the screen.
Where's Shane Ralph though, Dave? Can't see him.
No, he hid himself away.
There's Shane's place at Tilbury.
Oh yeah, there. Well, that's the Greys. Oh yeah, he's gone there for what's the name, isn't he? Jackie Doyle Price.
Yeah, and there's a Thurrock. Can't see Shane, can you?
No.
Can't see
unless you've got the Stephen Metcalf one. Yeah, unless you've got the Stephen Metcalf one.
Ooh, it's dark there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting pretty dark now.
Hey, oh, it's like, hey, Jesus is in. Right, see if we can go back to the BBC, see if we're going to get done or not, but...
Someone's car has been. Oh, I was just watching Sky Feed, and someone's car has been.
He has led his party too.
Sky Feed.
We're
someone's
expecting
watching
to hear from
someone's
him
car.
the early hours of the morning, about 3:30 to 4 o'clock. That will be the first time we think we're going to hear from the Prime Minister, and that will be at the Count just down the road at the local leisure centre, where he is hoping. Despite what's happening, it would appear to many of his Conservative MPs, he is hoping to be re-elected as the MP for Richmond.
All right, Victoria, thank you.
Let's look then. We've been showing you some.
It tells you how I've got Paul in the brain. I don't know what you say
in
this.
different parts of the country. Look at that in the north.
But some people have been doing selfies with their tits out or their
by 29% in the Midlands.
cock showing for signing in.
She's been the Shadow Education Secretary, one of Keir Starmer's close allies.
No, I'm not talking. You know.
And if the poll is anything like that, she will be the Education Secretary. She's inside at Sunderland while they continue to
run enough time to do
outside. Right, let's cross to the other big
camp tonight.
Fiona Bruce, who is at Camp Starmer. Perhaps a very different atmosphere there. We're going to stay on these pictures. But Fiona, have you seen height or hair of the Labour leader who's on the verge of becoming Prime Minister, according to the poll?
Not hide nor hair yet. I mean, the contrast of the atmosphere here compared to what we just saw at Victoria and Richmond could not be greater. Huge sense of
still daylight there, look,
activity. They're counting the votes. Keir Starmer, I'm told, was watching the results of that election.
Yeah, don't worry, it goes. If it goes, it goes. What can I do?
Caveats around the poll, as of course you both have already said.
How much do they do to get them there?
To see that result.
If the Shadow gets taken down, they get taken down. Well, they just explaining. We're, we've got our little area.
Between 2 and 3 in the morning. He will arrive probably 45
We're just watching a little bit. I know Welsh is watching Sky with Ali.
I've done much really to explain.
I'm not saying we're not let's go over to him. I'm not saying anything like that. If we get
as to where he goes after that, at the moment we're not sure. Is he going to go home? Unlikely, I would have thought.
Just need a bit of gin and tonic.
Will he go somewhere else? It might
be
gin and tonic. Wherever he goes. But at the moment, the count has started, and as I say, there's a huge sense of anticipation.
Still light there. Look.
Thanks so much. Keep an eye and give us a holler if you see any movement. We'll get straight back to you. Thank you for now.
Yeah, interesting the exit poll numbers of Scotland, but lots of health warnings there because we don't have as many areas that are counted the figures for the exit poll, so it's a little bit tricky. But we are going to get a bit of a progress report on the evening from Kirsty Walk, who's at the BBC's headquarters at Pacific Quay up there in Glasgow. Hi there, Kirsty.
Yes, still be daylight there.
With me, I have Angus Robertson, who is the Cabinet
Secretary of the Scottish
Government, and the former SNP Westminster leader, and Ian Murray, the MP for Edinburgh South so far, and the Shadow Scottish.
But they won't start their voting until about 4 in the morning.
So we have got on the exit poll 10 seats for the SNP, but we're not extrapolating. I think the parties are.
You mean you better? You mean
in a minute? The BBC's not extrapolating. But first of all, Ian Murray, if this exit poll is anyway true, we could be.
Look at this! Look, money! Look, don't fall over, love.
With the stuff in it, I know.
Bold F. But what we've seen over the last 6 weeks of this election campaign is a change in Labour Party.
Well, that's stuff the ballot,
yeah. The public and the public, I hope,
was that ballot 54 from Texas?
It's just a
ballots, I'll tell you.
Chime with what we've seen in the other polls in recent days.
What's that one about? You said about the Conservatives.
That's the kind of thing we've been getting back in the
doorstep.
Is
in the dark?
We used to be very, very cautious because a lot of these seats, of course, are very, very big SNP majorities, and therefore they could all be very, very tight.
Was that one? Yeah, he's finished canvassing for the Tory party last week, and therefore
hill is steep to climb, and it looks as if we're climbing some of it tonight. But let's not get too carried away this early in the night.
This is a very Starmer-esque reaction. No whooping, no jumping up and down.
Well, we've always been confident but not complacent, and we won't be complacent until such times as all those votes are counted and they're in the bag.
Angus Robertson, there's no extrapolation for the SNP. The SNP is just obviously a Scottish party. And
if you've got someone called Simon Deadman on Twitter,
seats.
Simon Deadman on Twitter.
Nicola Sturgeon
it says Thurrock will go Labour. Yeah, you saw it. That's the one.
Exit polls suggest Thurrock will be Labour again from Conservatives.
Yeah.
Well, obviously I'm disappointed, and congratulations to Ian and colleagues. I think it's in line with recent polls over recent weeks.
It's the reform one that's going to do it,
Labour victory both at a UK level,
first
but
ballot
also
box arrived at Thurrock
and
Council.
of course, I'm disappointed. It was the leader of the SNP in the House of Commons for 10 years, so that's a lot of my colleagues who it looks like will not be holding their seats. And that is obviously disappointing, but I will agree with Ian. I think it's important. I think the public has just been so sick of Conservative UK governments that they have wanted them out. And I think the Labour message of vote Labour, vote Keir Starmer for change, I think that has resonated. And I think and on the Scottish doorsteps as well.
With the idea of soft SNP supporters vote for Labour to get the Conservatives out. However, it could just be a straightforward verdict on actually what the SNP has been doing in government in Scotland, because after all, you
got it. Right, go. Share screen. Got it. Here we go.
Yeah, he walks in with the first ballot box. That's been stuffed, that is. Who stuffed it with? Who stuffed it with the Tory votes?
That Tilbury?
No, it's Thurrock. It must be Tilbury then, yeah. So it only took 10-15 minutes to get down to Tilbury then.
It's TV, that's us lot, Dave. Yeah, that's us.
Yeah. Yeah, it took half an hour. Yeah, it's our lot. He took it in and out 3 times. He has already.
Oh no, hang on a minute. I apologise.
There's no other pictures.
Oh, hang on. I'm just trying to get it. Hang on. It's hard to get these.
Yeah, Sunderland. Yeah, Sunderland or Cheltenham as well. Usually cool.
You see that?
Yeah.
That's Gateway 97.8.
Yeah.
You've got Basildon and Billericay, Bailey and Wickford, South Basildon and East Thurrock. That's our one.
We know the Poison Dwarf's still going to win in what's it called? In oh god, what's that one? One out from Basildon.
So that's basically our one there. Look, Simon Breeden, Stephen Robert Burnett, Jack Ferguson, Elizabeth Grant, who I've actually spoke to, and I.
Oh, Elizabeth Grant.
Yeah. She's a really nice lady, that Greens lady. James Murdoch. Who did I speak to? Stephen Robert Burnett I spoke to. Neil Spate we know. Stephen Metcalfe we know. I don't know. Simon Breeden. I don't know this Labour bloke, Jack Ferguson.
No.
I don't know this James Murdoch. But
it's all over
Facebook, isn't it?
The one vote for him because he's just a Pitsea bloke.
He's a what bloke?
He's just a bloke all the way from Pitsea. He's lost 3 times in Pitsea.
Oh, which one?
Jack Ferguson.
Is he?
Yeah, he went for 3 times in Pitsea.
Oh, you're joking, mate.
No, and he didn't get anything. Just a council, that's all he was in Pitsea.
I'm in the back of Amazon. All right. Heiko Koo's in Putney too, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are talking about protest votes. There you go.
Yeah.
They are talking about protest votes.
So actually, it's a much more complex Rubik's Cube in Scotland. It's not just one chamber of power, it's a second chamber of power as well.
Great. Okay. Kirsty, thank you.
I think we could hear them in the background arguing over the numbers and whether they really believe. But tonight, there will be no arguing with Jeremy Vine's numbers. He's in Cardiff for the night. And
he's in Cardiff, is he?
Now, Jeremy, let's see what you've got.
Thank you, Laura. Welcome to the headquarters of BBC Wales, and you can see this.
Oh, yeah, swing this way, swing that way.
Swing that way, swing that way. What happens, Dave?
You get arrested.
Why did you get arrested?
We've got a
He's
board.
his trousers and he swings one way and swings the other,
and
isn't it?
each tab is a seat, and there are 50 each time I change the board, and these are the most marginal seats, the most marginal of all for the Conservatives going into this election. Burnley with a 127 majority last time, then Leave Shepperton, new seat, 293 majority. Really slender majorities. High Peak, 590.
It's all
and then you've
ballots,
got the twin seats of Bury South. As we go down the boards, the seats gradually get better defended, and the Conservatives have a better
I bet he's
chance.
got a 10-inch swingometer.
Now let's show you what the exit poll is telling us. The results we put up, of course, are not results yet. They are going to flash because they're just predictions. But you can see this board. Most of the blue has been washed off this board, except for, interestingly, listening to Kirsty there, the Scottish seats. The Conservatives are defending their Scottish seats better than anywhere else. But it's a wash of red and Liberal Democrat orange as the opposition parties are just ripping through this first Tory board. So these seats changing hands, all the ones except Scotland and Cashel and Wimbledon. Let's do the next one. And again, you can see what's happened. Let's have a look. We move it on. You see what's happened here. So seats 50 to 100, 51 to 100. Hendon goes, Truro goes, Wrexham goes, Hazelgrove goes Lib Dem, Plaid Cymru in Cyffredin. Dumfriesshire again stays Conservative. They're somehow defending their Scottish seats. But look at the damage. We still haven't seen, until we get to Exmouth, a seat outside Scotland that the Conservatives have managed to defend successfully in their first 100. Essentially, this is Thatcher's old seat, goes Lib Dem. Let's look at the next board. Again, the map on the floor changes as I bring them on. That's a peachy Lib Dem target, Sutton and Cheam, so they've taken that under our exit poll prediction. Woking, they take Brecon.
What's his name's lost it, even though he gave up, didn't he, Boris Johnson?
Last time they barely had a dozen seats. But look at the red going down the board. The Tories are not defending anything in England at this point. It is still in the first 150 Conservative seats. The colours on the map are changing. Let's have a look at seats.
Tories still going to go on the Labour, even though she's
left. Conservatives start to mount a defence in England. Again, Telford Labour, South Devon Lib Dem. Let's have a look. Frumeney, Sussex Lib Dem. Lib Dem's doing brilliantly. Labour doing brilliantly. Beaconsfield, there we are. The Conservatives seem to have defended Beaconsfield, but that's
you knew didn't you, there weren't going to be any planes taken off. Well, there's definitely going to be no planes at all now because
Chelmsford, you're starting to see the Conservatives defend a seat here and there, but this is around about 180th, 190th target seats. Welling, Hatfield, Grant Shapps.
Welling, Hatfield, that's Labour.
Gone under our prediction as well. Let's see the next board, shall we? Now 201 to 250. And again, even seats that are 200 down the target list, Labour are taking. Rochester and Struve, Isle of Wight West. Yes, some are being defended. Melstride back in central Devon, says our prediction. But look, they're taking Lowestoft. Gravesham is interesting. 199th on Labour's target seat list, and we've got them down as a Labour game.
Kettering,
Mansfield, Wellingborough, Labour game.
What's his name's former seat
on this board. You're seeing the Conservatives can't defend their own seats until you get to seat 251.
The bloke who opened up the
so we're walking down. We're in
the live place
territory now. Salisbury, Reigate, Tewkesbury, Cambridgeshire, North West, Beverley, Windsor. Even here, Labour are taking seats. Staffordshire Moorlands, Sutton Coldfield, Amber Valley, Herne Bay, Old Bexley, Chatham, Solihull West. Even here, in their seats, Great Yarmouth was the seat of Brandon Lewis, the former Justice of Northern Ireland Secretary who stood there. That's gone under our prediction. So it is a horrible, horrible night for the Conservatives. Finally, here we are. And they mop their brows. Seat 300. And look, at last, the Conservatives are starting to mount a defence, but only in their safest seats. And even then, you've got Labour taking Cannock Chase, which had a huge Tory majority. So the whole map is changing tonight. It's just an extraordinary prediction.
If you believe that, see?
That's thank you.
Exactly.
Roll call of disaster.
You've got to wait for the votes to be counted.
Spin through. We'll be back with Jeremy throughout the night.
How many rejected? How many rejected votes and stuff like that?
Outside Rishi Sunak's home in Richmond in Yorkshire, the lights weren't on.
When's he leaving?
Car left.
But he is tweeting.
He leaving?
He is tweeting, and he's this out to the hundreds of Conservative candidates, thousands of volunteers, and millions of voters for your hard work. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your vote.
Kirsten has also begun to have his say to everyone who's campaigned for Labour in this election, to everyone who voted for us, and put their trust in our changed Labour Party, one of his favourite phrases. Thank you. So neither man either conceding or claiming victory at this stage of the night. You wouldn't expect them to do any less, but they both are there.
What's that Who song?
Message to their supporters. When eventually
one give forward again.
Times through the night,
meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah, their count's likely to be later on in the evening.
That's what it is. That's a Who song, isn't it?
We need the first count, and we're hoping that it's going to be one of these counts. Naga in Blythe and Sally, who is joining us as well from Sunderland South. Now, Naga, first of all, how's it
Naga Manchetti.
Hey, evening.
She does a great job.
Busy. A record's already been broken. I was here in 2019, and it took 38 seconds for the first ballot box to come in. It took 30 seconds today. It's a more streamlined operation here.
Quicker Uber cars, I suppose, or electric.
But as it's been so strenuously pressed upon us, accuracy is key, not speed. I know you've seen pictures of outside this leisure centre here in Blythe, of cars coming in and people running in with boxes.
Do that anyway.
This is a really streamlined operation. There are 18 teams counting. They are prioritising the first constituency. There are 4 here, Blythe and Ashington. So that will be the first to be declared. And about 15 minutes ago, we were told, look, expect that in around an hour.
Boston,
but you know, a little bit vague there because the expectation is that could come in at around 11:30. But it may be sooner, you never know. I know we're all waiting for the first results. 4 constituencies here, all new because of boundary changes. Blythe and Ashington, Cramlington and Killingworth, Hexham and Northumberland North.
That's just come up
so the secret, what is the secret apart from the running that you are seeing? Well, the secret is lots of people, very little downtime to keep the operation streamlined. Accuracy is key. I've also managed to steal off one of the tables. I don't know if you can see, you might be able to see on the tables, a little thimble, because I'm seeing the lightweight paper that's being used. That is very much part of the key as well.
But I don't think George Galloway's got his seat back. Do you think that or what?
This operation in 2019 was Bill Crawford.
Yeah,
he'd been coached from Sunderland, where Sally is obviously, and he'd worked at Newcastle in previous years. And now his son, Mark Crawford, is masterminding the operation here. So we'll see if success runs through the generations. Just remember, in 2019, Blythe lost out from being the first count because there was one bundle that needed to be recounted. Everyone here hoping that.
Your one. Your bundle.
Thank you. We're going to go over to where the head honcho was poached next in order to try to get the first count.
At least you're only going to get 10
in Blythe, we're going to Houghton and Sunderland South. Sally, first of all, they're convinced they're going to be first there. But secondly, how are the Labour team there feeling about the night so far?
So he's got to have a question every week.
Do you know what, Clive? At the moment, they're in such a huddle. They're keeping things very, very, very low key.
Every week. We promise questions.
So they're not saying a lot. But I can tell you, I have to give a very special mention to the sixth formers of St Aidan's and St Anthony's Catholic High Schools before I talk about anyone else, because they are the kids that you have seen on your screens running these boxes in for the last half hour or so. They've been having special training. There is a human chain from the car park up the steps to the back door here, and then we see a sixth former running. So these are 17 and 18-year-olds, maybe not old enough to vote yet, but definitely playing their part here on election night. And I know here at the moment we are perhaps the underdogs when it comes to timing. We are perhaps expecting to come in second. But I can tell you, we have a secret weapon in this room. Here in this room is Jackie, one of the bank tellers from the original super fast count all those years ago. She's brought back the A team, and they are at the back of this room now, counting right now. And I can tell you, they are confident. Jackie told me they're going to win.
Well, it could be down to Jackie. Thank you, Sally, and to you, Naga, as well. Naga's looking daggers. It's great to see you both. Thank you. I was actually one of those. Sally was talking about those kids
yes,
who
Mike,
were
this is
helping
what
with the
Dave's
boxes,
been
and I was one
talking
of them.
about.
Oh, well, there you go.
We're thinking that
Lancashire.
Well, there you go. Well, we hope you put in a good shift. Well, we see.
A long time.
Yeah, he will do. He'll give it to what's her name, Angela Rayner, or the Chancellor.
Aidens, we salute you, and those two
Yeah,
aren't
he won't
really up
last.
this
He
late,
won't
so we'll
last
be going
long.
straight back to them when there is actually a result. As the night goes on,
And that's what
so
he'll
much is
do.
going
He'll
to
do
come
a
in.
lot.
One
What
of
was
the
his name
things that
done
will come in
in
is your own
75,
result in
didn't he?
Wickham.
He got
We need
back
to
in
let you head
75.
off that count shortly, but before you
Oh,
go,
Wilson.
before you were
He
diplomatically
gave it over
saying
to
you were
what's his
sure that
name?
Rishi
And
Sunak
do you know
would
how to
do
swim?
the right thing
What's his
by
name?
the
Oh,
party.
yeah.
He made the win, didn't he?
And by the well, I
Hey,
just made it
Lucy,
clear. What
you've
do you mean
owned
by
it
that? You mean
before.
he's going to have to
Well.
resign?
Well, so I think obviously
could
this
have
is
won the 13
an extremely
seats,
difficult
won.
moment for the Conservative Party. Clearly, he'll be
Yeah,
handing
guys,
power over to Keir Starmer.
Yeah, sorry,
But
sorry,
how
people, I can't
he
vote
behaves
reform.
as leader of the
No.
Conservative
Yeah, or not
Party
even
is
yet.
something I'm
I mean,
sure
you
he'll
know,
weigh
I
extremely
can't vote
carefully.
reform.
You know, we've just
It's
had
not that they think they're fascist. They're not.
I haven't got anything against
There will be undoubtedly
Nigel Farage,
recriminations,
okay,
there'll be
guys?
shock,
Right?
there'll be
I haven't got
anger,
anything
denial.
against him.
We'll go through a
I
grieving
just
process.
Like your
Then
leg.
we'll have to,
Like your
at some
leg,
point,
yeah.
earn the right to be heard again.
Yeah.
But would it be credible for him to be the
I was
man at
just
the
a bit
helm when it
pissed
looks like
with,
he's just led you to your
what's his
worst
name, Tice?
ever defeat or
Oh,
one
Richard
off
Tice.
with the exit
Yeah,
polls
the way
rise
he
a little
handed
bit?
it
I'm
over
sure
to
he will
him,
be
didn't he?
reflecting on whether it's whether
And I thought,
his
no,
role might
I
be
can't-
Richard
I
to
Tice
can't
could
be
have
there
the
for a
as well.
while to get us through the recrimination phase.
As I said, always
As I say, it's a
reminded me of
matter
John
for him,
Lennon and
and
Yoko
knowing him
Ono.
reasonably
Plastic
well,
band.
I believe his heart and
Plastic
his
Party.
mind will be
You
set
know what
on
I mean,
what is
Dave?
right
Plastic
for the
Ono and all
country,
that, yeah.
and
Plastic
part
Ono,
of what is right for
yeah.
the country. And
Plastic,
your viewers
innit?
may not
It's
like it, but it's
made up
having a
overnight.
functioning Conservative Party,
Made
Yeah.
up
and I'm
overnight
sure he
things,
will be
yeah.
mindful
Sorry,
of
but
that.
He needs to chop and change. He needs to get rid of it, yeah. It's not the Beatles, is it? It's not the
Politics.
Beatles.
Too much.
Same as
So
history,
people like you
Dave.
on
You
the
know,
right
you put
Yeah,
your
be
ball
yeah.
on it.
strong, you're a
innit?
skeptic, or do you
Yeah.
You love
believe that actually
history.
the wrong thing was
And
to
I
bring in
love my
lockdowns,
history,
to allow the
but
state to grow,
politics,
to allow the tax burden to
Richard
rise
Tice
to its
full
highest ever
coast,
level?
yeah.
What's your view on that?
I think that there's a
Yeah.
great deal at
So,
stake.
If
One
he
thing
gets
is
something
the
under the
advance of
belt,
technology.
if
The
Raj gets
combination of
more under
WhatsApp
the
and
belt,
Twitter is completely
Yeah.
different
you know,
to when Peter was last in government. I
they'll
mean,
get it.
only really since about
You know.
Yeah, I just can't
2017
vote
have we all
reform,
ended up on
sorry.
No,
WhatsApp.
not
It's
for reform,
produced
yeah.
an enormous
Nothing.
I'm
acceleration.
not doing an Adolf Hitler
They have
either.
no reason,
COVID
don't they? They say,
obviously
what's
has
your
had a
reason to
profound
vote
impact on people.
whatever, you
Brexit
know?
doesn't explain what's
Well,
happening in the
there's
United States or
no
France.
reason to vote
Personally,
Conservative,
I
no
think
reason
that
to
what has
vote
happened for
Labour,
50 years
no reason to
is
vote
that
Reform.
Western states have been
And I
living far
voted
beyond their
Liberal
means and
because,
ultimately
like you
paying
said,
for it
didn't
with
you?
cheap
Just
money.
a
Losers.
protest vote.
That has created a sense
losers.
of injustice
Yeah,
in the world.
protest vote, innit?
But hang on, do you think
Yeah.
that it looks
This
like
is
you're
the
going to get
reason why
smashed
they done
tonight
it
because
with
you
me
were too
with
much to the
protest
left
vote,
or too
didn't
much to the
they?
right?
I don't. On the end, I don't think we will be able to have those sort of abstract conversations. We've got some practical things to do about what kind of
Dave's coming with
organisation
his
does the
trousers
Conservative
round his
Party
ankle,
want to be?
Adrian.
How does
Yeah, but
leadership
he
work in
won't
the
have them
Conservative Party? Because
because
it
he
seems
said
to
he
me
only likes
that the
Welsh
old
sheep.
idea of
Yeah, and he
being
went, I'm not Welsh sheep. Yeah, so yeah.
He
now
doesn't, for some
belongs firmly in the
reason.
past.
Why do you like Welsh sheep, Dave?
Very practical
Very
policy.
compliant, aren't they? You
For
know.
example, the health
What's the
service
matter
work.
with
I think we
Adrian
can be proud
sheep?
of our education
From
record.
Suffolk.
It's very
I know,
interesting
just
that
compliant, aren't they?
the idea of using the private sector to get
They don't
rating
mind.
records.
That's what he said. A lot of French farmers, a lot of Welsh farmers, you know,
that consistently.
as long as they're not allergic to war, they're all right, aren't
created
they?
the space for us to do it, and maybe everyone's health would be in a better place. So, you know, all of these things are big factors, and it's going to take quite a while to work through them all. But I suppose what I would do is
we can't touch him, can he? Look at the stuff he's coming out in.
whether elected to Parliament,
especially between his legs, isn't
careful
it?
about what they say in public.
Adrian,
Now is
as
the
your
moment
wife, is
when
she
we
all
start
right?
to rebuild the Conservative Party,
Just thought
and it
I'd ask.
begins by not airing recriminations in
she's
public.
all
We've
right.
got to learn to air our differences
Oh,
privately
okay.
and work
All
through
women
them in a
on
spirit
there
of
at the
goodwill.
moment.
Yeah, but
Look.
Steve, I mean, you're quoted as saying you'd make a good leader because you've been nominated to lead Tory rebellions.
The BBC
by
keep
your
talking to
Brexit
hard man Steve Baker.
Brexit,
why?
COVID lockdowns, net zero, and so on.
Yeah, that's Brexit hard man Steve Baker.
Don't win elections.
They're going to have to take two more leaders yet before.
Well, yes,
that is
true.
Not bad.
So you're part of the problem here.
He wanted full Brexit, didn't he?
I may well have lost my seat.
He wasn't in favour of Boris. He's the first one to say Boris off.
I'm expected to be swept away in
a
few
Boris
hours, and I
going to
shall
give you
think
full
that many
Brexit.
of your viewers watching this will be cheering. But it is just a matter of fact that my colleagues asked me to sort out Conservatives for Britain before the referendum. I was asked to sort out actually a unifying project to the European Research Group afterwards, which of course went south.
It's all ballots,
COVID again was asked to do it. If we had, what would have happened if we hadn't given voice to those people?
quick
who thought
poll.
it was
Quick
extraordinary
poll.
to be locked down at home.
Would you vote for that man? Brexit hard man Steve
theories.
Baker. Would you
No
vote for
one
him?
in Parliament had been willing to
What,
give
in
voice to that.
Stanley, in Stanley Hope, or do you mean?
Honestly,
BPM.
question about the coming weeks,
He
the
comes to
coming
Stanley
months.
Hope.
However
Be leader of
big
the Conservatives.
the majority turns out
Oh,
to be, if
right.
indeed that's
Oh,
the
no,
Leader of
no, 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 not the
Conservatives.
Conservatives,
the
no,
reality
no.
He wants to be.
between
He wants to be
Labour
leader of
governments is really quite an
Conservatives.
inheritance,
No.
isn't it?
All right,
Whether it be
Sniper.
the tax burden, the challenges that public services
No,
face,
sorry.
a lot of things that can't be magicked away by a big majority. And I guess there's a challenge for an incoming government with a big majority that is weighted with expectation.
She's
and that then
allergic to
confronts
wall, you said,
a
Dave,
reality
isn't
that
it?
is going to be difficult to shift.
If you're allergic to wall, you
If I
can't
look back
have
over
sheep and shag
my
them, can you?
whole life and before, I must say
It's like that
I
other joke, isn't
cannot
it? When she became a
worse
farmer, she was allergic to
financial
farmers'
and
jodhpurs, wasn't
economic
she?
legacy.
Yeah, what is
from
that? What's a
incoming
farmer's
government, frankly,
jodhpurs?
since
Well,
the
why the
Second
farmer get
World
these jodhpurs
War.
on?
But it'll be Labour's problem
You
in the
don't know
morning,
why,
won't
do
it?
you?
It certainly will be Labour's
Do you get
problem in
it?
the morning, but
When you're having sex,
you know,
you want to keep these
the
jodhpurs
legacy
on
that
for.
the
Yeah,
45
right.
government
She's allergic to
inherited
farmers' jodhpurs.
wasn't due to the failures of the
X-rated, isn't it?
Conservative
Yeah.
Party. It was due to the fact that we had fought and won a world
Chaffing her
war.
thighs, they were,
Cannot
weren't
say
they?
the same about this legacy. This
chaffing her
legacy
thighs.
This
has
guy,
been
now I like him.
brought to us
That guy, who's
yes
he?
by courtesy of
Mandy.
Mandelson,
COVID
yes.
And I'm Mandy, fly
Ukraine
me.
war
Yeah, I like
had
him.
such an impact on energy
He's one
prices.
of Blair's
Well,
acolytes.
that's him blaming the
and blown,
previous government.
and blown much,
But
and
one
blown
of Blair's
many-
acolytes. In the
many
1997, he had a bloody moustache looking like
But
Hitler.
we have also brought this upon
You
ourselves.
know?
We brought it upon
Yeah,
ourselves.
25 years ago. You see him with a little moustache he had.
Of Brexit, but many years of divisions
Amazing.
and
I'm too old.
indecision over
I'm
how
too
we
old.
were
I
going to
remember
implement it.
the 97,
Then the
you know.
moral collapse of Boris Johnson, of
So
party
Conservatives are still going to be the largest party then, yeah?
Yeah, they'll still be, what's it called? Yeah, they'll still be the opposition.
And then to crown
But it won't
it,
be much of an opposition.
calamitous
It said it'd be like
distrust and
97.
her crashing of the
Right.
economy as a result of her mini budget.
Oh,
So
break
yes,
you on the
all
buses,
told,
yeah. Get that
we
bus
have
out.
a
That's right, yeah, he done a little moustache like that, he
legacy,
did, yeah.
and that means that whilst there are early,
He's a
important
young gay
first
man, he was,
steps
wasn't
that can
he?
be taken to put things
Looking
right,
like Freddie Mercury.
turning the whole picture around is going
Well,
to
he's
take
gay, isn't he?
years. And
Yeah.
I think that Keir Starmer was absolutely right to be sober and honest and responsible in what he said to the British public during this campaign.
He's
And
going to
I
come back in the
wouldn't
cabinet. He is. You see him, you'll get a bloody job in the cabinet. He will.
We have to let you get off to your count.
I'd love to miss my count just to rebut that.
Shouldn't you have stayed in Greece? You were on holiday at the
I did
start
all
of
the
this whole
work I
thing.
needed to in Greece.
All
I
right.
invite you to interview my chairman at my count.
Okay, well,
All
we'll
right.
see how it pans out for you, but we're grateful to you
Brexit.
for nobly
Yeah,
coming
Steve
to bat
Baker,
for the
yeah.
Conservatives in what is an extremely difficult night for the party. We'll let you get
Yeah.
off to the count. Thanks for being with us this evening. And Peter Mandelson, you're staying with us for some
Steve
time there.
Baker.
So let's have a look about the
Mandelson.
numbers. and look behind it.
keep him
Indeed,
there,
because we're
Mandelson.
having a good old chat and we're having
Because they're bloody waiting. Right, oh, that you gone off?
Yeah, I'm just going to show this. Hang on.
Righto.
You got it?
I know, yeah. I know it may be a bit boring, guys, but if you don't mind staying on. Who's that? Green?
Yeah, that's that green lady I spoke to on the phone.
All right. Well, she ain't going to win it. She ain't going to win it. She can get less votes than the Reform.
Yeah.
She'll be louder than Reform, she will.
Yeah, that's the lady I spoke to on the phone.
Well, it
the
doesn't
other
mean much,
week.
you know.
Yeah, Sean was on
Yeah, hang on. Is it Sean?
Wilson's channel earlier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
GB News. Or GB,
Yeah, he was
Resistance GB. Yeah.
Resistance GB. I don't know what he was seemed to be having a go a bit at Wilsey. I don't know why. He just said something like, "Oh, what? So you're taking this stance, are you then, Wilsey?" And I thought, what? So I just let him get on with it.
Well, someone was having a go at Wilsey earlier,
Oh,
weren't they?
Yeah, I like this guy. Where is it? Share screen. Him. Who's he?
It's because reform.
Oh, he's the YouGov bloke, isn't he?
The Conservative Party
Oh,
tonight
is he?
being done by
Or
reform.
when does all the polls, isn't he? Yeah.
SNP had gone down 38 and
That
Liberal
point
Democrats
too,
up
then, however, the
53.
second thing that's
Yeah.
making life difficult for the Conservatives is where are Labour
doing
the
Scottish nationalists won't have any say in the
where they're starting off second to the Conservatives. Oh, and by the way,
what medals just put on there?
They also seem to be doing quite well in the battle with the SNP, which
How
I'll
do you
come
know
back
when
to
a
that.
woman is
But
wearing
equally,
tights
the
if
Liberal
she
Democrat
farts, her
figure so
ankles
high?
swell up?
It's not because we're anticipating some spectacular rise in Liberal Democrat support, but rather that Ed Davey's hopes of doing particularly well. Where the Liberal Democrats are the challengers to the Conservatives, it looks as though that hope is going to be realised. So there are two things
man. What do you think of him?
First, an obvious health warning. While we are pretty convinced that this pattern will exist,
Theresa May could lose her, Liz
whether we've
Truss
got it
and
exactly
Moggy could
right
lose their
is
seats.
much more uncertain. Whether we've slightly overestimated or underestimated these patterns
could
make quite a lot of difference.
I think he's overestimated
the
it.
Second thing that flows from this is that although this looks like an election in which Labour are going to get a landslide in terms of seats, it does not follow.
What I'm going to try and do
it
is
does not follow.
I'm going to try and
that this
open up as many
necessarily means
tabs as
that
I can
Labour
and
have got
try
a
and
landslide
get over
in
to him
terms of
without.
votes. So that's point number one about the broad picture we're presenting this exit poll.
If you find anything,
the health warning that goes with the estimate, but also the implications for how we might end up interpreting this result at the end of the night. There are then two other things to say.
They've not won the popular vote. If we had it in America,
most surprise,
Labour not winning the popular vote,
most controversy. Are
right?
One, reform
It is.
The SNP
if we had the American system,
those
you don't want to vote Labour, really.
About which we are least
but you rather change. You rather get rid of the Tories.
In the exit poll is a lot of places.
It's not a popular vote.
There is a
they don't like him. They don't like Starmer.
Will win the seat. But
they don't like They don't like Labour, really. But
chance.
You rather have a change after 14
we
years.
add up these probabilities, and that's how we get to the figure.
That's why Trump's going to win again.
To be honest, the figure
could end up
being quite
because you don't like Sleepy Joe and him falling asleep in the
cookie crumbles.
On the stand,
I mean, equally, it's already been emphasised from the beginning of the night. Inevitably, we have fewer sampling points in Scotland than elsewhere. It does look as though the SNP have done particularly badly. But remember, there are lots of
no Rwanda flights this year now at all. No Rwanda flights at all.
And we have even if we've just underestimated the SNP's performance relative to Labour by a little bit, then that
it's like Father Christmas arriving too early. They say
those are the health warnings. Of course, behind all of this, it does look as though Sir Keir Starmer is going to be
Green Party leads candidate
tomorrow.
He's
probably going to have a very substantial overall majority. That, of course, is the crucial thing we're trying to find out.
I'm just going to come back to that, so
inevitably plenty of uncertainty
in
our election, which in many ways looks as though we're going to come up with all sorts of historical records in terms of shares, seats, and also the change in the geography of support.
Leeds
this, in a sense, is going to be one of the most interesting and unprecedented elections in British psephological history.
It certainly is, John, and you've given us the appropriate bucket of salt to be very careful about these early results. Even though, as you've clearly explained,
don't trust
the seat numbers might be.
Green Party Yorkshire.
That's the Leeds.
Hey up,
Joe.
Hey up, Leeds. Who's going? Up your bum.
Yeah, that's Joe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe comes from our area. You know, what's the road called again where we used to live? 299
Pagnell Road. Pagnell Road. Pagnell Road.
Yeah.
Or Coronel Road.
So, yeah, Joe comes from Pagnell Road like we did.
Pagnell Road, yeah.
She's the one who had the uncle had the car you talked about, that free-wheel car.
Yeah, sure. So, 1970, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
Before we moved here.
Yeah.
Between the two parties is going to prove to be. I thought it was interesting that Angus Robertson, at least on air, didn't seriously dispute our figures. It sounds as though the SNP are willing to accept that they're not going to remain the largest party in Scotland, but of course,
no, Labour back in Scotland.
A possibility for the SNP to be saying 15 or 18 rather than 10. Who knows? That's one of the reasons why.
That's why Farage is going to get the Prime Minister's questions, or they give it to Liberals.
In the end of the day, it's only the ballot boxes.
It'll be Liberals or Farage.
That's exactly why you have to stay up all night with us. But John, a very significant point there. If the SNP does look like it will be the smallest party, that suggests if they don't have a majority in Scotland anymore, that
no, that's the end of them. That's the end of the SNP.
Likely declaration time 12:15.
Oh well.
For
President
and Billericay.
All right.
Labour majority 340 seats, 495 seats.
Well, if you want to start till after midnight, if you want to start till after midnight and see it come up, you see all this crap on here about it, and you want things to change instantly, don't you?
Yeah.
It's a bloody anticlimax. It is.
For some reason,
you want things to fucking change tomorrow. Bang, that's it. But nah, nothing changes.
No,
nothing changes.
All right, okay. Daisy Cooper has joined us here from
I'm not
the
Rosie
Liberal Democrats,
Cooper.
Deputy Leader. Hello, it's good to see Andrea Leadsom as well, standing down.
Oh God, oh Andrea Leadsom
in South
standing down.
It's good to have
yeah, Andrea Leadsom,
yeah. From Labour with us too. Daisy Cooper, first of all, the exit poll is suggesting that you're going to be up 53 seats. So falling off pedalos, cycling, at great speed down hills in Wales, swimming in sewage. That all makes sense.
61.
It worked.
No one clear it up. No one's going to clear it up.
For a once-in-a-century result for the Liberal Democrats, and I think that is testament to the phenomenal leadership of
you've got here in talk all the time now. You have old
and our positive vision
and
our plans for how we want to save the NHS and fix social care.
So those
nothing on them at all.
Ed Davey doing all those things, got you the airtime and got you a voice when it came to trying to get your message out. It worked.
It worked. And the fact of the matter is, we said time and again that whilst we don't take ourselves that seriously, we do take
we
our
can't do much because nothing's happening.
And with every single one of those stunts, there was a very serious message.
As long as you don't mind doing all this, I'll go and get you another drink later.
Yeah, but there's nothing on there.
Mental health practitioners into every single school. We have talked about the NHS and social care.
What else have you got, though? Have you got anything else?
And many of those stunts have helped us to do that.
If you actually look at what we're forecasting
Sky,
viewers can see in the north.
Just saying the same thing, all run by the same people, aren't they?
I mean, I don't like BBC, but
so actually, it looks like what's happened is you've been better at concentrating
GB
where you
News
campaign, and you've benefited greatly from stories crashing down to earth.
Like the old
actually,
BBC, but I don't like the BBC.
All those pedalos and kayaks and water slides made a big difference in persuading voters actively to go to you.
Green are going to get
We've got a first past the post voting system in this country. It's a broken system, but it's a system that we have, and we've been very clear that for as long as we have that system, we have to play within the rules.
And we learned how to play it now. That's what's happened this time. You've learned how to play the first past the post system.
Well, that's it. And whilst
that is what's happened, right? You've learned to play the game better.
Well, we've been clear for years now that our goal always to try and unseat as many Conservative MPs as possible. Up until this evening, we said we were in second place to Conservatives in around 80 seats around the country. And later this evening, we'll find out how many of those.
Oh yeah, I wonder how Jeremy Corbyn won.
But I can say that with every Liberal Democrat MP we have, however many there are by the time the results are in, every single one of them will be a local champion to fix our NHS and social care.
And how much of a role do you think
the leftists are on there with that no justice?
I think tactical voting is critical for every
no justice, no peace.
It is in every single election.
The leftist group.
There's no doubt, as I say, that for as long as we have this broken voting system, there will always be some people who vote positively for a particular party, but there will always be other people who want to vote tactically. And there's no doubt that in those areas where Liberal Democrats have been the key challenges,
I did vote for them, but
we did ask people to vote tactically for us, as well as to vote.
They haven't done nothing here in Thurrock, so.
No, nothing in Thurrock at all.
A little later, and from Andrea Leadsom and West Streeting too.
Right, well, let's show you our cameras right around the country. We are at every single count, I believe. You can see all the amazing pictures there. Counters hard at work, and it shouldn't be too long before we get that first result. Blythe Valley is looking promising, so Sally and Naga will be fighting it out. But Rita, let's turn to you. You've got some analysis of where things have really gone wrong, according to the exit poll for the Tory vote.
Absolutely, Laura, but there's some interesting stuff about the Labour vote as well, actually. So what you can see here is some analysis based on the exit poll and what has happened to the share of the vote in seats that voted in 2019 for the Conservatives versus seats that voted Labour. Let's take a look at the Conservative seats first. So you can see the Conservative vote has plummeted here, down to 28% in those seats that voted Conservative 5 years ago. Labour up by 5%, Lib Dems and Green Green up as well. But the big winners here are
There's
the
nothing
Reform Party.
on
And that
Twitter
18%
about it,
is up
Dave.
on what the Brexit Party got last time
You've
round,
got Sky News.
18%. So that has really
TV
gone
News is on there as well.
hurt the Conservatives there, and that is what senior Conservative figures have been warning about in the last few weeks. Now, let's take a look at the seats that went Labour 5 years ago. And here you can see again a big drop in Conservative support. But this is a really interesting thing, that Labour has gone back a little bit in its own seats, down by 1 percentage point. And who are the winners? It's Reform and the Greens. So it looks as if the vote from the two big parties has actually been redistributed.
I got for that, and
Talk Radio got paid for it now. West Streeting, I think you're there. I was wondering what you think of this Labour vote down slightly in Labour seats.
Well, we'll wait and see what the results actually come through and say.
They're not winning the popular vote. Labour's not winning the popular vote.
Campaign, and we knew that it wasn't good enough just to stack up more votes than seats we already hold. We needed to win seats from the Conservatives.
Oh God, he's going to be your new what's it called, minister, health minister.
Leaders make excuses for poor results and pretend that defeat is really a victory, like in 2017, where you'd almost have thought it was just benevolence that led to Theresa May going back into Downing Street because we didn't want a forced eviction.
Oh, there's nothing much. I'm watching that leftist channel.
In 2017, we lost in 2019, we lost in 2015 and 2010 for that matter. We are in this position today to be able to win a general election because the Labour Party has fundamentally changed. We understood why we lost in 2019, listened, and I mean genuinely listened as to why we lost support from people we should have never broken faith with. And as well as rebuilding trust with those voters, we also built a big tent that enabled millions of disaffected Conservative voters to look at Labour and think, well, I might vote for these guys. And we'll soon find out how many of them actually did. But this is a remarkable exit poll. They're not results, it's an exit poll. But in 2019, we were on the brink of extinction and told that in order to get a majority of one, we would need a 1997 style swing. This exit poll shows a 1997 style majority. So I'll believe it when I see it. But this is a remarkable exit poll and a testament to the change in the Labour Party. I don't think that guy's had nearly enough credit for the
patriots.
The determination that he has shown to really grab the Labour Party by the scruff.
I wonder if I can I wonder if I can just jump in. I mean, nobody's taking away from you the things that you are saying again based on the exit poll, but these figures do suggest not a resounding enthusiasm for the party in those seats that voted for you 5 years ago.
Workers' Party.
Well, wait to see what the results say, but I think I've said on the BBC before, I think it was on another election night, that Keir Starmer could literally be on his way to Buckingham Palace to be made Prime Minister, and pundits would be saying, it was a disappointing night for Labour. I mean, come on, give me a break. I've had enough of this now after 4 years. 4 years ago, I don't mind saying, I would never have imagined that Labour could do this in one term. Never have imagined it. I thought it was impossible. I thought it best a two-term project. And yes, the implosion of the Conservatives wind in Labour's sails. But
we won't be allowed to be in a party.
And the ship is ship shape.
You can tell all this stuff on the TV, on the Twitter and stuff like that. I agree with
rebuilt
the left and the right for Nazis would be France.
And see where
then you know one's Nazi, one's communist, don't you? You know that. I agree with that. But going to fence.
Excitement about
but no way am I bloody Nazi. And I said to
are you ready to say you're sure you've won?
You call me a Nazi, mate, and you and me are going to be on the floor.
I used to watch the 97 results.
And I don't mean on the floor six.
I know you mean, yeah. Punching, you're kicking with your fake leg and you're really doing damage.
You won't get to walk again, I'll tell you.
I now know exactly how they
go to prison.
Honestly, it sort of
I'm not having him telling me
we will judge the results by the results and not the exit poll.
I've told him straight.
Of course, I'm delighted by the exit poll. I have seen many exit polls.
I want to know if you were a Nazi because it says, you know,
if we have won this general election,
as I said, if we went to that time we had in Crystal Knock in 1938, and the Nazi came up to him showing his banner,
for us to rebuild our economy,
I
rebuild our
would
public
punch him
services.
straight in the face. I would have punched the Nazi straight in the face. So
but as I keep saying to you, I still cannot understand
the projection
crap
for
that you were
reform
talking about
seemingly a very significant result for them, according to the exit poll, getting 13 seats.
Oh yeah, murder. Yeah, well, yeah, of course, because
he was a Nazi judge.
This is a huge.
He was a Nazi. Of course, he was a Nazi judge. If Hitler owns the country,
but I will. Yep, we can show it.
What do you think he's going to be? You think he's going to be in favour of Hitler, or is he going to be in favour of the country?
A very forthright and victorious message from
no, that's what happens because Hitler had everything completely in Germany, didn't he?
What it is like in the reform camp. That's given us a taste of it. Our colleague Alex Forsyth is in Clacton, where of course the leader of the party. Only lately, rejoining in that role, Nigel Farage.
And that's a day like swingy left
to Westminster himself. Alex, what is the move there?
Mine was not big enough to swing left or right.
Remarkably calm at the moment, Laura, if I'm perfectly honest with you, but it is very early in the evening, and I suspect the move within Reform UK more widely is less calm, having seen that exit poll. One of my colleagues tells me that Nigel Farage is having a meal somewhere in town. We're not expecting him to turn up until the early hours of the morning, because that's around the time that we're expecting a declaration here in Clacton. But like you say, remember Nigel Farage has attempted to get a seat in Westminster 7 times before and failed, and I suspect with all of the caveats
lemonade.
Particularly
Secret lemonade drinker, yeah.
That's
the best lemonade out there.
Huge confidence boost right the way through what was already a pretty confident Reform UK campaign. So I think a little bit later we're going to go from calm counting to something potentially more chaotic.
And
I suspect the move with Reform UK right now is pretty confident.
Is it free? I didn't know if we
had to pay for it. Nigel Farage is going to take that seat.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is his best chance, many people think, because of the wider political picture that he's had in
the
with 30%. Now Independent supports 50%, and the SNP are getting a complete drubbing. So what's actually happened is
what's the Elba bloke doing on?
Probably 4 years.
YouTube, isn't it?
The only worse government I can think of
in memory
than the SNP in Scotland
I'm
over
trying
the
to
last
give
3
it
or 4
up,
years
but it's a
is the Tories at Westminster. I mean, they've been
quite a low
competing.
bar.
The pair of them have been competing to be the 2 worst governments in history, and they've both paid a very, very heavy price. So the SNP are paying the price.
Were they bad, but in different ways? Tell me the top 3 things you think that went wrong under Nicola Sturgeon, and of course, we on another 5 leaders since then.
Well, I mean, when Nicola Sturgeon, people are asking the questions tonight.
John Sweeney's going to be on the side, didn't they?
What it's about is the kamikaze policy.
Didn't come out well on
the ludicrous idea that they can nominate their sex.
The damage potentially that Reform UK does right across the country, as well as any seats they win themselves.
Alex, thank you so much. It could be much worse than the Conservatives had imagined, but we'll see how it develops.
Yeah. Now, if you're out and about, what are you doing? You should be.
That's why, again, if it's going to take over 5 years for reform,
and you go past,
or the Conservatives build up. So what do you want to do? You vote reform still, or do you get back the Conservatives?
The results of the exit poll. Now, remember, this is a first indication of what we think will happen tonight. We still haven't had a single result yet, but the Conservatives down to 131 seats. Labour.
You should be independent. Wasn't even an issue. Now, of course, they've undermined the competence in government, which is one of the key pillars of moving forward.
And of course, one of the key things also, we're going to be dealing with education. We've seen a world-class education system in Scotland basically completely, that is no longer the case. And falling way behind England, falling way behind many other countries. How much do you put that down to Nicola Sturgeon, to Humza Yousaf? John Swinney has only been in for a short period of time this time round.
Well, I think it's entirely Nicola's legacy. It's a poisoned legacy. The mistake that Humza Yousaf made
through the figures there, with the Greens only making 1 gain.
1 gain. So Brighton's still green, but I don't know what the other kind is.
Figures that have to be confirmed by a decent result, and we still haven't got one yet. But the suggestion is a landslide for Labour of 170 seats.
Well,
we think there is only one box left to count in Blythe and Ashington, so we might have our first result of the evening very shortly. But Andrea Leadsom, Conservative former Cabinet Minister and MP who's been standing down, thanks for coming in tonight. If Labour ends up with a majority of 170, as the poll predicts, and you end up crashing down by 241, the decision of Rishi Sunak to call the election now may prove to be one of the worst political mistakes in history, surely.
You know, it's
there you go, mate.
According to the exit poll, this is a devastating night for the Conservatives. But I'd just like to reflect that it's actually a fantastic
why don't you all flood to reform then?
for democracy in our country that we can have an election
If
where,
they all
as
flood
Wes
to
has
reform,
said,
would you take them?
in 2019, it was the Conservatives' night to have a huge majority.
Would you want old Tories in a reform party?
For 2 terms. And I think what this does show is that our democracy is alive and well. Devastating for my party.
You just traded one for the other day,
to
didn't you?
rethink, to regroup, to regain the trust of the people. But at the same time, we do need.
They are, you know, they are right of centre, but again, not Nazis. They're just right of centre. That's why it's a trigger word that does you.
First ballot boxes to arrive in Thurrock this evening.
Right. That's all you have.
First ballot box.
Margin of error, but they are pretty much near as,
you
know, they're very, very good. They're showing a clear picture tonight, not just for Labour's success, which you seem to be, in a sense, for what they've achieved, that volatility of voters, but Reform, Nigel Farage's outfit, looks like they have absolutely taken a hammer to your vote in lots of different parts of the country.
See, they have.
Sunak hammered them in the wrong way.
And that's why it's handed Labour the victory.
When you are the Prime Minister, to decide when to call a general election. You know, we saw that.
Hopefully Starmer gets wet tomorrow because it's absolutely pissing it down. We will be pissing it down here soon.
I want to try and get out if I can.
Months and months and months.
Might be pissing it down tomorrow, so I hope Starmer gets
general
wet.
election.
And
when the Prime Minister decides to do it, of course,
and how much
still nothing from there.
Reform, according to the exit poll, has done vast damage to the Conservatives, but we will find out exactly how much so. But your question was Rishi Sunak right to call the general election? I'm trying to answer that. It is a very, very difficult and very personal decision for any Prime Minister. And he will have taken into account the potential impact of reform.
She tried to become, because wasn't that got a job, didn't she, May?
A corner,
Theresa May got
real wages rising, you know, there are all sorts of factors that he will have taken into account. So it's very easy, I think, always in hindsight to say, well, that was a really bad decision.
Oh,
but
God,
I think these are very,
she was
the
MP
issues.
Oh, God.
But
she was a lovely lady.
Was the way that Rishi Sunak and the Conservative Party handled reform. Hardly went after them.
Can't remember her name, but
I can't remember her name. No.
She was a lovely lady.
Really getting stuck in after
she took the job over after the rent boy bloke
from one of the supposed workers for
Harvey Procter.
Nigel Farage.
She took the job over
after Harvey Procter. I've met the bloke who died. I've met him. I've actually met them.
Some of the
on that overpass.
Might be
York Avenue, famous York Avenue in
work. It's
completely
backfired.
The overpass.
Well, we'll see.
But the Scottish,
I would accept that potentially in hindsight, you could have gone after reform much more. The Conservatives actually have some very strong achievements to their name. And I think genuinely the desire was to highlight what the Conservatives in government have done. You know, 4 million more people in work, low unemployment, real wages rising. We turned the corner. We got through the COVID pandemic. We're recovering fast. Equally, joint first in the G7 in terms of growth last month. There's not all of the net zero achievements and so on. Plus, what we considered was a very real concern about what Labour will do, as continues to be the case, a very real concern about what Labour will do with people's taxes.
The one who got knifed, didn't he? The one who got knifed.
It was wrong not to go after reform.
He's going to lose the seat. That seat's going to be lost to Labour.
These things are very carefully thought through as to what is the right approach. And what we wanted to do was to focus on what Labour would be doing with people's taxes.
He phoned me up one day and he says, I need to meet you somewhere. I thought, what's going on here? So he said, I've got all the paperwork.
First result.
You got it?
For the Horton and Sunderland South constituency is as follows.
There we are.
Richard Peter Bradley, 1,723. Chris Bernicle, 5,514. Paul Edgeworth, 2,290. Bridget Maeve Phillipson, 18,837.
Labour's first gain or victory.
Sam Woods Grass, 11,668. The number of rejected ballot papers was 101.
A lot.
The
101.
was 51.2%.
Look at my big referee. Yeah, look. Reform, second.
To serve as member of the
So delighted Bridget Phillipson there, who can now expect
Look at that.
not just to stay as the MP at Sunderland
10%
South,
more.
but you can expect to become the
half
Education
more.
Secretary, having done that
I don't
job
know
as a
much
shadow
about me
for
subtractions
for the
and
last
divides,
few
but,
years.
yeah.
She receives more than
Half more.
18,000 votes, but Reform have beaten the Conservatives into second place. Let's listen in to Bridget Phillipson's victory speech. She's likely to be in the cabinet.
That's 50% more, isn't it? 50% bonus, that is.
And if the exit poll this evening is again a guide to results across our country, as it so often is, then after 14 years, the British people have chosen change.
Yeah, they didn't have Reform had stuff for Tories. That's 50% extra, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, 50, whatever it is.
They have chosen Labour, and they have chosen the leadership of Keir Starmer. Today, our country,
I know it's only wrong result, but if they get 29% of every vote, Reform, they're
the British people have decided
really going to go well.
that they believe, as Labour believes, that our best days lie ahead of us.
Look at that swing.
Look at that
Unity,
it's a Labour not decline and division.
Yeah. There's not much of a swing as a whole.
You
just got your answer.
A government powered by hope.
That's the swing.
By the belief that tomorrow can not just be different from today,
but
it's
better. A swing away from Labour.
A government of service.
More to Reform than Labour, though.
Above all, to change our society for good.
Yeah. Labour lost some votes, but Reform have got the...
where background is no barrier.
Reform have got
no matter who your parents are or where
took some
you
Labour
born,
as well as Tory
determined
votes.
to tear down the barriers to opportunity, which hold back too many of our children. That is Labour's purpose. And the result today speaks to the trust the British people have put in our changed Labour Party.
She's talking
And
bollocks.
after 14 years, as your Labour MP in opposition, I am so proud to be part of a party which has tonight not just won the trust of people here in Houghton and Sunderland South, but of the people across Britain. Labour will honour the trust
Tories,
that you have placed in us.
Reform are going to be
you have placed in
one.
me.
You know, there will be one day.
And I will work every day to deliver the promises that Labour
I'll be going
has
off
made
a quick cough and a drag
and
later.
the better future that we, each of us and all of
Yoki,
us
you
deserve.
got Yoki on there.
From the
It is
bottom
our
of
not
my
raining.
heart. Thank you.
Yeah, it is our not raining here also. What's it like up in Birmingham at that time?
And lastly,
pelting down
I
it
want to say
is.
thank you
Pelting
to all
down
the
it is,
people
yeah.
who worked hard to organise and secure today's election and counted the votes this evening.
You got to take bread pudding for your
You are the
mother.
people who deliver our democracy, and we are grateful for your contribution.
Remember sugar? Oh yeah,
My
sugar
thanks
on
to
the
fellow
pudding,
candidates here in Houghton and Sunderland South for a good-tempered campaign.
Pelting
To my
down
fantastic local Labour
picture's gone
Party
off.
for your unwavering support, and to my wonderful agent, Les Scott.
Who's that in the background live?
Bridget Phillipson there,
Live,
delighted, beaming away. Not just having won her seat,
My picture went off.
expecting now
It's
to
come back
be in the
on.
cabinet. And in her speech, she said,
Oh,
the British
yours?
people have
Yeah, my picture went off.
decided
It's come back on
Labour
again.
will return
That's right.
government to service of the people and create a country where
hang on,
background
get with
is no barrier. Bridget
Hang
Phillipson
on, you're
there
going to have to come
very
out though, you know, back
decisively
again.
saying that Labour has won
Oh,
the
but
general
that's
election. We'll
what's gone
discuss
off,
that
is
a bit
it?
more in
Yeah,
just a
your, your
Yeah, and
picture's gone off.
Labour's
Yeah, I thought so.
vote
Yeah, close it up and
increase
reset
there
and
is
start
line
again.
with our exit poll. And that's the first
Come
result
out
we've
the
had all
screen.
night.
Come
Jackie
out
the
of
bank teller.
The first
Yeah.
MP
I think she
And
did
then we
it. And
start
the first
again.
MP elected into the new parliament. Yeah. Let's talk to Jacob Rees-Mogg, who can join us from North Somerset. Hello to